We've all been there, fumbling with music mid-session trying to pick the right track while your players stare at you, waiting for the next big moment. Finding the right music and playing it seamlessly all while running the game can be a task with a pretty high difficulty class. But don't worry, here's another video to help you out. In my last video, we talked about how to use music to enhance your TTRPG sessions and covered some key principles to make it work effectively. We broke down why film scores, despite being amazing, aren't always the best fit for our tabletop games, and why static intensity is a crucial factor to consider when choosing appropriate background music. I also shared a simple system to keep your music organized with 5 essential playlists. Light combat, for lower stakes encounters with moderate tension. Heavy combat, for intense, high stakes battle. Mysterious, for investigations, eerie dungeons, and moments of uncertainty. Civilization, to bring towns, cities, and taverns to life. And wilderness, for traveling, exploring, and the great outdoors. But knowing what music to use is only half the battle. Today we're going a step further with practical tools to make your music playback effortless, plus 5 new playlists to bring even more variety and depth to your game. And of course, as always, this isn't about prescribing a correct way to use music in your sessions. I'll just be sharing my own subjective thoughts and tips for those who might find them helpful. So take what works for you and your table, ignore what doesn't, and let's get started. In the last video, we talked about great music sources and apps for playing background music during your sessions. But one thing we didn't cover in detail was the technical side of playback, how to actually get the music to your players in a smooth and immersive way. So, let's go over some practical tips for setting up your audio, whether you're playing in person or online. If you're playing at a physical table, the simplest setup is to play music from a laptop or phone connected to a portable Bluetooth speaker, for example. I usually place mine right in front of the DM screen, so it blends naturally into the game's atmosphere. A few things to keep in mind. Volume balance is key. The music should enhance the session, not compete with the players' voices. Keep it low enough to set the mood without becoming a distraction. This is especially important if you have players joining in remotely. I'll admit I'm guilty of getting swept up in the cinematic energy of epic battle music, only to have my remote players constantly asking me to turn it down. If you're using Spotify or YouTube, make sure your playlists are loaded and ready before the session starts to avoid interruptions. To make things even easier, all my D&D playlists start with the same prefix, so I can quickly filter them in Spotify's search bar when I need to switch tracks. If you're running your sessions online, things work a little differently. While my group primarily plays on Roll20, we use Discord for voice communication, and luckily Discord makes it easy to stream music directly into the call. Here's how I do it. Open Spotify or your music app of choice. Use Discord's screen share feature. Make sure to check Share Application Audio so your players can actually hear the music. Another great feature in Discord's voice channels is that you can upload and trigger your own sound effects at key moments. Perfect for punctuating an epic finishing move, a powerful spell, or a dramatic reveal. Regardless of whether you're playing in person or online, one simple way to make your music feel more seamless if you're using Spotify is to enable crossfade. This eliminates those awkward silent gaps between tracks by blending them smoothly together, keeping the immersion intact without unwanted pauses. I usually set mine to 5 seconds, but you can adjust it to fit your needs. The 5 playlists from the last video will likely cover about 75% of your session time, at least if your games are anything like mine. But what about those other 25%? That's where these additional playlists come in. While they may not be used as often, they fill in the gaps for those moments that don't quite fit into the broader categories we covered last time. In the previous video, we used a flowchart to determine which playlist to use in different situations. But since these scenarios are more specific and don't occur as frequently, the same structured approach doesn't really apply here. Instead, it's up to you as the DM to recognize when the standard playlists aren't enough and switch to one of these for a better fit. So, let's dive into some essential bonus playlists to help you fine-tune the soundscape of your sessions. And as always, you'll find links to pre-made versions of these playlists in the description of this video. Let's go! Sometimes your players encounter moments of pure awe. A scene so mystical, grand, or otherworldly that it deserves something more than just your standard ambience. That's where the Magic and Wonders playlist comes in. Use this playlist to immerse your PCs into awe-inspiring mystical events and locations, such as holy temples bathed in divine light, a colossal world tree stretching beyond the clouds, encounters with ancient spirits whispering forgotten truths, or displays of breathtaking magic, whether it's a wizard bending the reality itself or a deity manifesting before the party. The key here is grandeur and enchantment, music that evokes a sense of the supernatural, sacred, or legendary. When the players step into a place that feels beyond the ordinary, let the music make them feel it. Not every moment in a TTRPG session is about tension, mystery, or combat. Sometimes it's time to celebrate. Whether your players are enjoying a well-earned break or stumbling into a town during a grand festival, the Festivities playlists help bring those lively moments to life. Use this playlist when your game calls for high-energy bustle and merriment, such as rowdy tavern nights filled with drinking, dancing, and questionable decisions, lively carnivals with street performers, masked revelers, and swirling colors, or boisterous feasts in great halls where bards play and nobles toast to victory. Much like the Civilization playlist, this is a great opportunity to incorporate authentic historical medieval music, as well as folk music from different cultures to reflect the rich diversity of your game world. Whether it's jaunty Renaissance dances, Celtic jigs, Eastern European folk tunes, or Middle Eastern percussion-driven festivities, this kind of music can instantly transport your players into a world of lively revelry. This is the soundtrack for letting loose, having fun, and embracing the wild, vibrant energy of a world that isn't always about life or death stakes. But not every adventure ends in triumph. Sometimes the dice don't land in your favor, the heroes aren't fast enough, or fate simply has other plans. The Loss playlist is here for those moments of great, heavy sorrow. When a scene demands music that truly lets the weight of failure or tragedy sink in. Use this playlist to enhance moments of deep emotional impact, such as the death of a beloved PC or important NPC, the party arriving too late to stop a village destruction, or a hard-fought battle ending in a bitter defeat. This music underscores the gravity of loss and creates space for the players to process and roleplay their grief. It's a powerful tool to make losses feel meaningful, letting tragedy linger just long enough before the journey must continue. But not all emotional moments are about sorrow. Sometimes they're about the bonds that make the journey meaningful. The Heartstrings playlist is for those scenes that tug at the soul, filled with bittersweet beauty, nostalgia, and heartfelt connection. Use this playlist for moments such as honoring a fallen character with a heartfelt tribute, or a tearful farewell as a companion parts ways with the group. Or something my table is way too uncomfortable to explore, a romance between characters. The key here is sentimentality with warmth, music that carries emotional weight but leans toward beauty and hope rather than despair. This playlist helps players fully embrace the emotions of the story, whether it's the pain of a goodbye or the quiet joy of a connection that truly matters. And sometimes the standard Civilization or Wilderness playlist just don't cut it, especially when you're setting moves beyond the typical medieval European-inspired locations. That's where the location-specific playlists comes in. This playlist is all about capturing the unique vibe of a specific place, helping to immerse your players in settings with distinct cultural or environmental influences. Some examples could be dwarven halls, elven realms, Mediterranean cities, deserts, or tundras. This playlist stands in for Civilization or Wilderness when you need something more tailored, something that tells your players exactly where they are the moment the music starts playing. Of course, what feels right for these locations is entirely subjective. Just because I associate deep male choirs and bagpipes with dwarves or ouds and dudukes with the desert landscapes, that doesn't mean it will fit your world. You're more than welcome to use the playlist I've built for my setting, but if they don't quite match your vision, I highly recommend creating your own. The key is finding sounds that resonate with your world building and help transport your players the moment the music starts playing. With these additional playlists, you should have even more tools to craft an immersive and cinematic soundscape for your TTRPG sessions. While the 5 core playlists from the last video will likely cover most situations, these new ones will help fill in the gaps, bringing depth to those unique, emotionally charged or culturally distinct moments in your game. But at the end of the day, the real magic isn't just in the music. It's how you use it. So experiment, build your own playlists, or use my pre-made ones linked in the description. And most importantly, trust your instincts as a DM. And if you've still got your own must-have playlist that I haven't yet covered, I'd love to hear about them. Drop a comment below. Alright, that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I hope your next session is filled with unforgettable music and storytelling. Until next time.